So what I've got today is this Punky Sprouts album, and it comes in lots of different layers. There are acrylic layers, and there are chipboard layers, and then there's a canvas layer. So I've got the heart-shaped album, and I have taken off the wire binding because I'm going to do something else with the binding. And I'm going to show you a transfer technique onto canvas today. And the first thing we need to do is actually use the shimmers, because once we've used the Modge Podge, it's going to seal it. Excuse me. So today I've got the Shimmerz Vibe in Fiery Fiesta, which is a really nice orangey tone to it. Very nice. And I'm just going to colour it a little bit, or a lot, depending on what you want to do. Now, the reason I chose the Fiery Fiesta colour is I'm going to be using these papers here from Sassafras Lass, and I'm going to wanted to pick out sort of this orangey yellow colour and that throughout. It actually tones in perfectly with the stitches on this paper, if you can see that. And what I'm doing when I'm choosing the pattern is everything's going to be in reverse. So I'm going to be using this area right here, and I'm going to reverse it down. So you sort of look for something that's going to be the reverse of your shape, like that. And then what you do is we're going to just cut that out. So basically this is going to sit upside down on here, and I'm going to keep this ribbon sort of parallel, so all that bottom bit you're actually not going to see. Like so. So what we're going to use now is Modge Podge, which is like a very sort of watered down PVA really. Which you can use as a sealer and a glue. And a finish for all sorts of things. And I want a reasonably thick coat, because I don't want this coming up. Actually, what I'll do is I'll Modge Podge this side, easier. I'm just using a fine brush, give yourself a really good coat, because we don't want this coming up. Place it. You can sort of tell from the cutout shape whereabouts it's sticking. Now you want to make sure this is really stuck down, so if you've got a bone folder, to give it a really good rub, and you'll see all the Modge Podge come out, that's fine. But I'd leave this for a good couple of hours now. Make sure it's really stuck. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you're going to get a sponge. Just a normal kitchen sponge, really wet. And really get some water into that paper. It doesn't matter if it gets really wet, it doesn't matter if the shimmers gets really wet either. It just adds to the effect of it all. You can see it's starting to go really dark. Keep going. The paper will become really soft. When it does, you can start rubbing it. What you end up with is a very distressed, sort of washed out image. which looks really nice as a background. And that's going to form basically the whole basis of the look for the album right there. I'll clean this off. Now when you've got all these little bits off, and it's looking clean, you just sort of get the most of the bits that you can off. We're going to protect it just with another coat of the Mod Podge straight over the top, over the whole page, and then you're not going to have to worry about it peeling off again. So another brush, more Mod Podge, and just straight over the top. It dries clear, just like PVA glue does. And just let that dry, and when it's dry we can do the rest of the album. And I'll let this dry naturally rather than heat it up too, because I don't really want to distort the album cover.